What's good? What's going on YouTube? It is JB and welcome back to another video. Hopefully my camera's more 4K. I know my camera's been off and on about 4K resolution and all this blah 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 stuff. You know, subscribe, like, help me upgrade my stuff. You know, sub goals are coming soon. Hopefully at 400K at the end of the year, we can do some goofy stuff. But today we're reacting to Jacksepticeye was right about MrBeast. And everyone ignored him. Now, before the video flow starts, I know I'm yapping a lot. I knew Jacksepticeye didn't like MrBeast. I personally never cared for MrBeast. His challenges are cool, but I just never cared for it. Like, ooh, here's a few money stuff. I don't care about. I don't care about, like, oh, look at all these fancy cars. Look at these fancy houses. Look at all these stuff. You know, look, I got so much money. And yes, he did come down from bottom, but I never really cared for his type of content, personally. And I never really cared for him. Like, he did some cool stuff, yeah, but I just never cared for him, really. So, and I do think he did ruin YouTube. Like, I know Jacksepticeye in the past said he ruined YouTube. I remember that. I do agree with that. I do think that YouTube was more money content, more money based instead of, like, let's have, you know, goofy fun stuff. But, you know, it is what it is. Let's see.
Do you like MrBeast? No. Now, Jack, a completely unrelated question. Do you like MrBeast? No. Jack, do you think MrBeast ruined YouTube? Yes. Now, in all honesty, Jack, why? Because it became more about views, money, and popularity than it did about having fun.
True.
You have fun playing Squid Games? You think you have fun riding on yachts? Building wells in Africa?
If you need a yacht and stuff like that to have fun, you're kind of sad. Like, I'm going through my phase. For those who have been on my TikTok, yes, I am quite sad as well. But
I don't know.
I don't think you need $1 million to enjoy life.
We'd see the fun.
Ooh.
I thought you were going to get me with that one, didn't you?
A year ago, criticizing MrBeast was basically social suicide on YouTube. If you questioned his content, his business decisions, or the direction the platform was heading, you were instantly labeled bitter, jealous, washed, or incapable of adapting to the algorithm. There was no room for nuance. Either you...
I think it went down when he started making festivals, Lunchly, all those disgusting stuff. Like, all that went down when he made those. And then targeting it as healthy food. It's not healthy food. Lunchlys, whatever they're called, they're not healthy. He thinks they're healthy, but there's so much proof that they're not healthier. And they mold faster because of the stupid, like, all that stuff. When he started doing that stuff, that's kind of like where I think he really dipped low bars and then just kept getting lower from there.
Loved what he represented, or you were written off as someone who couldn't keep up. But what's interesting is how quickly that narrative has aged. Because when you actually slow down and look at everything that's happened over the past 12 months, the awkward lie detector moment, the Lunchly controversy, the AI thumbnail backlash, and the growing discomfort
the
from
AI
veteran
stuff,
creators,
thumbnail stuff was
it becomes
stupid.
pretty clear that a lot of those early criticisms weren't hate at all. They were warnings. Warnings about where YouTube was heading. Warnings about what happens when scale becomes the goal instead of creativity. Warnings about what gets lost when a platform starts rewarding optimization over originality. The lie detector clip is a good place to start because on the surface, it looked harmless. A joke format, a bit of banter, nothing serious. But even inside that goofy setup, you could hear something real slipping through the cracks. The underlying critique wasn't about money being evil or success being
This AI
undeserved.
voice is going
It was about
kinda
priorities, about how YouTube's center of gravity had shifted from make cool stuff with your friends to optimize, maximize, dominate. And that shift matters. There's nothing inherently wrong with scaling up. There's nothing wrong with reinvesting profits, hiring teams, or treating content creation like a business. But when growth itself becomes the product, everything else starts to warp around it. Videos stop being ideas and start being vehicles. Every upload exists to justify the next one. Bigger stakes, bigger reactions, bigger promises. Not because the idea demands it, but because the system rewards it. That's what Jack was pointing at. Not MrBeast is bad, not money ruined YouTube.
Right.
But when growth is always the answer, creativity turns into calculus. MrBeast's response at the time focused heavily on effort. Years of grinding, constant reinvestment, doing good, inspiring people. And none of that was untrue. but the response didn't actually engage with the criticism. Because the criticism wasn't about effort, it was about gravity. When one creator becomes the blueprint for success, the entire platform begins bending around that model. Even creators who never wanted to follow it. Suddenly, everything needs a massive hook. Every thumbnail needs to scream. Every title needs to promise the impossible. If you don't play that game, you're told you're not serious. That pressure doesn't stay contained at the top, it trickles down. Smaller creators feel like their quiet, personal ideas don't matter. Mid-sized creators feel forced to pivot away from what made people like them in the first place. Editors and designers watch years of stylistic identity get flattened into trends. Everyone starts chasing the same metrics, using the same language, copying the same structures. And over time, the platform starts to feel sterile. That tension was already there before Lunchly. Lunchly just made it impossible to ignore. On paper, Lunchly looked like a perfect influencer product. 3 massive creators, MrBeast, Logan Paul, and KSI, teaming up to create a modern alternative to Lunchables. Cleaner branding, better optics, a Prime Mini included, a Feastables bar on the side. It looked engineered for success. But the issue wasn't whether Lunchly was marginally better or worse than its competitors. The issue was the framing. The way it was positioned as better for kids, while leaning heavily on influencer trust instead of transparent nutrition conversations. That's when things shifted. DanTDM's response wasn't loud, it wasn't theatrical, it wasn't even particularly aggressive. It was just disappointed. A simple, do better. And somehow, that hit harder than any expose video could have. Because Dan represents something older on YouTube, a time when creators weren't trying to build empires, but communities.
True.
A time when selling to kids wasn't wrapped in layers of branding language and...
I grew up on DanTDM. DanTDM, Markiplier, Jacksepticeye are the big people when I did have access to internet, because I didn't really have access to internet growing up. Not until like 2020 when I actually got like my own computer, and I got a phone at like 15, but like... DanTDM, like when you were in the schools with the Chromebooks watching YouTube, DanTDM was like the one to watch because he was so entertaining. Everything was himself and it felt cool. It's like, I want to be that guy and do what he does because it's so much fun. And he still does to this day. I still will go back and watch some of his newer videos because I'm like, oh, he's still posting. Let me watch. It takes back memories.
Influencer credibility.
Sad way he's going through now.
Jack stepping in after that didn't feel like drama farming. It felt like defense, not of himself, but of an audience that didn't ask to be marketed to like this. And that's why the backlash stuck. It wasn't just creators arguing. Viewers were involved. Parents were involved. Longtime fans felt like something had crossed a line. It wasn't about hating influencers. It was about pushing back against the idea that trust is just another asset to monetize. And just as that controversy started to cool off, the AI thumbnail situation reignited
This
everything.
AI voice is
There's a new way to make
so.
professional-looking viral thumbnails with zero Photoshop experience.
Oh yeah, I remember
and the
this.
best part is, this new method works.
This was so stupid. Like, oh, I don't use AI thumbnails. It's really not that hard to create thumbnails, people. Like, yes, I know you want your thumbnails to pop, and it costs a lot of money to get someone to art, but if you're starting out, you don't need all that. It's really not that hard to have thumbnails. Not that hard to crop. All my stuff that I use, my editor, my everything is free, and I still do well. Even my past videos before I reacted, I still did well on thumbnails. I still did well on editing. Free. $0 was spent doing that.
In every niche, whether you do gaming, cooking, beauty,
You
this
don't
works
need
for
AI
all of them.
thumbnails.
From creating
AI
custom
thumbnails
results
ain't
from
good
any
shit.
channel to literally being able to put your face on a thumbnail.
Like, that was
it
crazy.
literally feels like cheating. This is the home of the AI tool where you can type in any channel on
Yeah, but everyone can look at that and be like, ew. Because it looks so bad.
all of YouTube, and it'll use it as inspiration for the thumbnail it's generating. So for example, let's say you're MrBeast. You would just type in MrBeast here. Now it's gonna look at all my recent videos and get inspiration from them. And for the prompt, I'm gonna type in stranded on a volcano. And there you go, we now have a
That looks so
thumbnail
bad,
with me
though.
dangling on the side of a volcano.
It doesn't look good though. Like,
And there you go, we now have a thumbnail with me.
what happened to my quality? Are you trying to be like YouTube Kids though? Like, look at that. That is so bad. I know the quality is really bad, but like, that looks like that just doesn't look good. Not only like this was stuff you put on YouTube Kids and kids would watch it. That's different. Like, that's where I'm like, okay, well, I guess. But like, it just looks so bad.
Dangling on the side of a volcano. This is perfect for inspiration, and if you do a couple iterations with the system, this is how you can literally generate your thumbnails going forward.
The tool was pitched as empowerment, a way to help smaller creators compete. Auto-generated thumbnails, learning from successful channels, making the playing field more even. But almost immediately, people noticed the darker implications. Styles were being...
What the flip happened to your voice? Oh. That's probably why it's quiet for y'all. But I'm
being replicated, faces were being mapped, logos appeared in promotional material without consent, entire creative identities, things people had built over years, were suddenly treated like datasets. That didn't feel like help, it felt like extraction. Jack's reaction was blunt and instant, because at that moment, it wasn't about thumbnails anymore. It was about ownership, about whether creators still controlled their own identity on the platform, or whether everything was about to be systematized and automated into sameness. And that's where this conversation stops being about one person. Because MrBeast didn't...
All Jake Paul, KSI, MrBeast, they're all sellouts. They're all like, oh, let's do. I'm like, cool, you make a lot of money, but you screw over your fans so much by doing that. Like, Jake Paul definitely
invent the algorithm. He didn't force anyone to copy him. But when the platform rewards a single model of success, it quietly punishes everything else. Weird ideas, slow content, niche communities, small human moments. Those things don't scale well. And when scale becomes the metric for worth, the soul of the platform starts to thin out. This is the point where the line gets drawn, not between creators, but between philosophies, between bigger is always better, and better doesn't always mean bigger. And that tension doesn't resolve cleanly, it lingers. What made this whole situation uncomfortable wasn't just the individual controversies, it was the pattern. Every time the platform was nudged toward a line, the response wasn't reflection, it was acceleration. Bigger launches, faster pivots, louder explanations, more polish. And that works in the short term, but it also creates distance. Distance between creators and audiences. Distance between intention and impact. Distance between what YouTube used to feel like and what it's slowly becoming. The AI thumbnail reversal is actually a perfect example of this. To MrBeast's credit, he did walk it back. The tool was removed from new signups. A directory for real thumbnail artists was pushed instead. He emphasized how much he already spends on human designers. In YouTube terms, that's almost unheard of.
Not really. But like, yes, we knew he used people to make his thumbnails. Then why would you promote AI, is my thing. You promote AI thumbnails, but you say you don't use AI thumbnails. If you're not using AI thumbnails, you're just doing it to make a profit. That's the thing. Because I believe you had to pay for it to use AI thumbnails. So, I mean,
a genuine course correction. But reversals don't erase instincts. They just reveal them. The instinct to automate, the instinct to optimize creativity, the instinct to treat style as data instead of identity. And that's not unique to MrBeast. It's what happens when platforms reward scale over texture. When everything gets filtered through performance metrics, even art starts to feel like a system waiting to be optimized. That's why Jack's frustration didn't feel performative, it didn't feel like clout chasing, it felt existential. Because Jack isn't anti-success, he's anti-sterility. His brand has always been messy, human, inconsistent, sometimes burnt out, sometimes brilliant. He presses record without knowing exactly where things will go. And that unpredictability, that lack of polish, is exactly what doesn't survive in an environment obsessed with efficiency. So when he looks at a thumbnail factory, or a product launch aimed at kids, or an AI system trained on other creators' identities, and says, "This isn't it," it doesn't sound like jealousy. It sounds like someone protecting the last layer of YouTube that still feels human.
How's it going, guys? A week ago, I launched an AI thumbnail tool to help small creators make better thumbnails, and I thought people were going to be pretty excited about it, but I definitely missed the mark. If you open up Twitter, you know what I'm talking about. And so I read all your guys' feedback, and I've been thinking a lot about it, and so we just enacted some changes that I think you guys will find positive. And so going forward, there is no AI thumbnail tool. Anyone from now on that signs up for ViewStats Pro, there will not be the AI thumbnail tool. It just doesn't exist. We pulled it down. And on top of that, I wanted to go one step further to really show artists out there that I care. If you go on viewstats.com, under our more tools section, it will say hire thumbnail artists. And if you click that, it'll take you to a page of artist portfolios where you can commission a real thumbnail artist to make you a real thumbnail. So I care more than any of you could ever imagine about the YouTube community. I mean, obviously I'm the biggest YouTuber in the world, and I don't take that responsibility lightly. And so, you know, it deeply makes me sad when I do something that, you know, people in the community are upset by. And I also want to put out there that I guarantee you, I have spent more money on thumbnail artists than any other YouTuber in the world. I've probably spent more money on thumbnail artists than the top 100 creators combined. I mean, I have a small army of thumbnail artists that work for me. I'm looking to hire more thumbnail artists. So I just want to put that out there, and I have no intention of firing my thumbnail artists or anything. Like, this is, you know, just supposed to help make them more effective and blah, blah. I mean, you know what I'm saying. But regardless, it doesn't matter. The tool's down for future people that sign up for ViewStats Pro. And yeah, now it's a funnel to help artists make more money. So I'm really excited. Go check it out. Hey, go to viewstats.com and click on the Hire the Artist tab and, you know, go commission real artists, help them make more money. So take care, guys.
The same instinct showed up during the Lunchly fallout, because Lunchly wasn't just a product problem, it was a trust problem. Influencers selling food to kids isn't new, but doing it under the banner of better, while leaning on brand loyalty instead of transparency.
Right. Oh, right. Saying that Lunchly was healthier than Lunchables and all this other stuff was just flat out lying to the people. And then what's so crazy is that when I'm working in retail, because now I work overnight stocking, but when I was working in retail, people would buy it, and I would tell them like, oh, you know, blah blah blah, this, just to give them facts reviews, you know, parents. And they're like, oh, really? I didn't know they could do that. It just says healthy, so I thought it was healthy. And it's so misleading. Like, first of all, as a parent, you should know stuff like this is not healthy. Prime is not healthy for your kids. It is not a hydration drink. It's basically an energy drink. And it has really bad chemicals in it. Just like, granted, all drinks have bad chemicals in it. Even bottled water. However, Prime is probably the worst one out of like regular soda and stuff. Get your kid vitamin water at that point. Secondly, if you want a real hydration drink. Secondly, Lunchlys is literally the same thing as Lunchables. Worse, I could say, probably, because they lie saying like, oh, it has better like, oh, protein value and all this, but they don't. It actually has worse protein value than Lunchables, but it's still just as bad as Lunchables. But the way they're saying it is like, this is so healthy, your kids should eat nothing but this, and it's actually poisoning the kids and poisoning their, you know, bodies. Like, Prime literally is poison to you, literally. So is most drinks. But like, ugh.
Crosses into uncomfortable territory fast, especially when the creator.
And as someone who eats unhealthy constantly, like, look at my teeth. Oh god, I have to get that done soon. Ugh, please. This is also why I want to do YouTube, so I can focus on building my body up. Please help, guys.
Involved have massive cultural influence and a young, impressionable audience. Dante DM's Do Better landed because it wasn't aggressive, it was disappointed. And disappointment hits harder than outrage when it comes from someone people trust. Jack backing him wasn't about piling on, it was about drawing a line, about saying there's a difference between monetization and responsibility. And viewers felt that. That's the part people underestimate. Audiences aren't stupid, they know when they're being marketed to. They know when a message is framed carefully to avoid scrutiny. And once that trust cracks, it doesn't come back easily, no matter how big the brand is. What's interesting is that none of this means MrBeast is some villain. That's the nuance that gets lost online. MrBeast the person clearly cares about making the best videos possible. He obsesses over retention, he reinvests constantly, he funds charity projects at a scale most corporations wouldn't touch. He doesn't just talk.
Right, he does do good things, right? He does donate, he does do good stuff. I just think that a lot of his choices on things could be questioned.
About impact, he measures it. But MrBeast the model is something else entirely. It's a system, a gravity well, a blueprint that reshapes the platform around itself. And when that blueprint becomes the default expectation, everything else starts to feel wrong by comparison. Slow videos feel lazy, niche content feels risky, weird ideas feel unscalable. Even authenticity starts needing a pitch deck. That's not MrBeast's fault, but it is his shadow. And
that Jake Paul video just was not it, bruh.
Shadows
Just
matter
not it.
because YouTube didn't just adopt his success, it adopted his values, then acted surprised when copycats, cash grabs, and soulless optimization multiplied across the platform. The last year didn't prove Jack was right because scandals happened. It proved he was right because the platform itself started showing strain. A lie detector moment about vibes, a kid's product rollout that felt tone deaf, an AI tool that nearly flattened creative identity. None of these things exist in isolation. They're symptoms of the same mindset. When everything becomes about...
I wish I can smile like Jacksepticeye. I can't smile and show my teeth because of the situation. I mean, I wish I could smile like that, bro.
Culture becomes collateral. To be fair, the year also showed that correction is still possible. The AI tool reversal mattered. The artist directory mattered. Listening, even briefly, mattered. It showed that there is still a human behind the brand who's willing to recalibrate when the community pushes back. That's more than can be said for most corporations operating at that scale. And that's why this conversation isn't about cancelling MrBeast. It never was. It's about not letting one format become the only language YouTube speaks. Because YouTube was never supposed to be a product Bible. It was supposed to be messy, uneven, personal, a place where fingerprints mattered more than polish. Jack didn't call for MrBeast to fail, he called for the rest of the platform not to forget itself. And that's why, a year later, his criticism doesn't feel bitter, it feels prophetic. Not because everything went wrong, but because enough went almost wrong to prove the point. So no, this isn't about picking sides, it's about recognizing that when success becomes formulaic, creativity becomes fragile, and if YouTube wants to stay alive as a culture, not just a marketplace, it has to leave room for things that don't scale neatly. Because sometimes the best videos aren't optimized, they're human. Drop your honest thoughts in the comments, I read them all. And if you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to like, share, and subscribe.
Alright, well, I will say this video could have been done better. The AI voice kind of sucks. There's a few glitching points, I would say. But, yeah, subscribe to Influence Critic, guys. I hope you guys like the video. Subscribe. We're at 400. We're 441, 440. 941. What am I saying? Ugh. But, it's still a little early for me, guys. But, subscribe at 400K. We have some sub goals to go through. Each sub goal we get to is a new thing we'll do, and hopefully I can do this full time. So, yeah, see you guys in the next one.